Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
This here is a true story about crossing the pond at night in the world's smallest cockpit, on the tanker, through the weather. Oh, and to the tanker crew who did that, thanks a lot. We really appreciated that. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond.
So there I was, commemorating an auspicious occasion today that actually took place yesterday. Hey, this is Fig. Welcome to So There I Was. Where's my co-host?
Well, it was a Styx. I'm up here in Whitefield, New Hampshire, on the road today.
Nice.
Hey, it's Bago.
Bago, where are you?
At Cherry Point, North Carolina, just getting off work.
Hey, you.
Work! A four-letter word ending in K. Greetings, everybody. Repeat here, and welcome to episode 200. Count them. 200. Oh, can you believe it? Yeah.
Double centuries.
And wow, what a great occasion to have show 200, because while we're at 200, we are going to be talking about a man today who has hit 1 century, over a third of our nation's lifetime. This man has been drawing breath and doing heroic acts, and after 73 years of delay, Captain Royce Williams, United States Navy retired, finally got his due. Last night at the State of Union address, they pinned it on, and then today it was the official ceremony. They read the citation for his Medal of Honor. We're going to play that for you here in just a minute.
Outstanding.
But, wow, this is cool. Styx, this is kind of your idea. Why don't you kick it off with some of where we wanted to go with this, please?
Right. Well, so we like to start off a lot of our episodes with "So there I was." So I'm just going to say, so there he was at 19,000 feet in a 7v1 fight in his F9F Panther against 7 MiG-15s. And then yada, 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 he gets the Medal of Honor. How about that?
Yeah. Yada, yada, 73 years of yadas.
Exactly. You can't, and we, of course, yada, yada out the best part, which was the actual fight. So I think one of the important things for us to recognize is that the Medal of Honor is the highest award that can be given to any of our military service members. Quick look on that also finds it's only been awarded 107 times for aviation and aviation type sorties or events. And, this also puts him in the league with Pappy Boyington, and also puts him in there with Billy Mitchell, who
Put Your Hair, Battle of Midway.
Some of the most distinguished, aviators in history, and he's earned it. I think his story is absolutely fantastic. But he's this was sort of a brainchild of let's go back and revisit a little bit of his episode, talk about his story, and bring that back to the forefront because it's well deserved for sure.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes,
he was
it
about
is.
to turn 99 when we interviewed him on episode 45.
How about
Just
that?
a little while ago.
Yeah. On April 4th of this year, 2026, he's going to be 101. So, and still lucid as ever. I mean, it's so cool.
When I went back and re-listened to that episode, it was amazing, his recall of certain events surrounding that. And what I also think is important to note is that this interaction that he had with these 7 MiGs is considered perhaps the greatest and most significant, naval aviation event, and it's been buried into the history books. And so
literally buried.
Yeah. So I think it's really cool that we were able to, to bring this to the forefront, especially all the way back in episode 34. And then we come back around full circle now, sitting at episode 200, and he just gets awarded the Medal of Honor. I just think it's absolutely outstanding.
Yeah. quickly, it was episode 45.
Or 45. You're correct.
So there I was,
Well,
US/episode/45.
What a blessing it is that he got it awarded, and it wasn't posthumously. Because my fear was when we talked about this way back in episode 45, and we knew that it was sitting at the Senate level, right, to be approved.
Yep.
That they, this was not a high priority item for some reason, and it was going to drag on to Lord knows when, and then the next thing you know, somebody's typing and it's really loud, and it would have been not a factor anymore.
Yep. He's actually now the oldest recipient ever of the Medal of Honor.
That's even more badass.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Nice. What do you remember from show 45, Bago? Anything stick out to
Oh,
you?
yeah. Well, Six started it. He mentioned it was 1v7. However, if we recall, it started out as a 4v7 and quickly went downhill from there.
Yeah.
But I think the most amazing thing of it all from the start of it was that he told us he had almost 100 hours in the seat during his very first ever dogfight, 1v7.
Right? and then flying an underpowered, undergunned. He was just
way outmatched.
More airplane. The MiG-15 was much more airplane. Way out.
And it's actually, and I've even.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
No, I've even got so let me pull this up real quick. So I've got a quick slide here that actually
there you go.
pulls up a comparison between the two. But the whole idea of the MiG-15 was to take on the straight-winged fighters and to take advantage of that. And of course, what does he happen to find himself in? A total straight-wing fighter. And it certainly is more maneuverable, has a better thrust to weight ratio. But the one advantage that he had was there was more firepower, or he had more guns to work with, more bullets to send down range. That was really about his only advantage. Yep. And sheer determination to see it through. So to me, that says a lot. And it looked like through the years that the F9F has had a varied or different thrust ratios, and on average, it looks like it's been around 0.3. Is about the average, whereas the MiG-15 was sitting at 0.58, which is a big difference.
It's a big difference.
And he had to spend every single last bullet to make it out of there, too.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead.
No, I don't want to interrupt you.
No, I was just going to say that, like, in that whole conflict, when you go back and you look at it, it lasted 35 minutes.
Which is
and granted, I have zero dogfight time, but from what I understand, that's an eternity.
It is, in fact, actually the longest dogfight in U.S. naval history.
Yeah.
Having never done it for real, but done it in training, I don't know, thousands of times, that is a literal eternity.
If sorties lasted an hour sometimes, in a 35-minute fight. I don't know. I think a long engagement for us might have been 4 or 5 minutes, and that was
super long. Yeah, that was Gone with the Wind, for crying out loud.
Yeah,
I mean, normally those things are over with in a minute and a half or even less. In a turning fight, which they were in, he was in turning fight with these guys.
Yeah,
that's Gone with the Wind times 2, maybe 3.
Yeah, just
it's insane.
So yeah. Well, why don't we take about a minute and just shy of 2 minutes here, and I will play the citation that they read to honor him. And I will send out a thanks to Scotty Southard, go Marine, for sending me the link to get a hold of this citation. So it's about a minute 45, and the official citation of his Medal of Honor.
The President of the United States, in the name of Congress, takes pleasure in awarding the Medal of Honor to Lieutenant E. Royce Williams for service as set forth in the following. For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty on 18 November 1952 while leading a division of 3 jet fighters attached to Fighter Squadron 781, VF-781, and embarked on USS Oriskany. While flying a combat patrol mission over the northeastern coastal waters of enemy-held North Korea, Lieutenant Williams demonstrated extraordinary heroism by intercepting a superior force of attacking enemy MiG-15 fighters in order to protect the ships of Task Force 77. After thwarting the enemy's initial attack, he maneuvered his aircraft to make 2 firing passes on one MiG, which then spiraled into the sea. He inflicted heavy damage to a second MiG-15, which started smoking badly and retired from the fight. When his own aircraft was severely damaged by a direct hit from one of the remaining enemy MiG-15s, Lieutenant Williams evaded further enemy attack while continuing to direct the dogfight. He eventually found cover in a cloud bank, broke off the engagement, and miraculously landed his nearly uncontrollable aircraft on the USS Oriskany. His exceptional airmanship, coupled with his complete disregard for his own personal safety, resulted in the destruction of 3 enemy MiG-15s and severe damage to a 4th, and undoubtedly saved the lives of hundreds of Task Force 77 sailors. By his undaunted courage, bold initiative, and total devotion to duty, Lieutenant Williams reflected great credit upon himself and upheld the highest traditions of the United States Naval Service.
Boom. And I got to say,
That's badass.
that citation, it is badass, but that citation kind of underplays it. He talked about the book Red Devils Over the Yalu, and they confirmed kills. The dude didn't retire from the fight. He was forcefully retired.
Yep.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but it was the intelligence ship tracked those 7 MiGs when they launched from the Russian base. And can you guys hear me okay?
Gotcha.
Yes. Yep.
All right. And then 7 launched, but only 6 came back.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry. 7 launched, but only 1 came back.
1 came back.
Yeah.
So he might have got, he might have got 6.
Right.
If he nicked their fuel tank and they ran out of gas before they got back to home plate, that's, in my book, that's a kill.
Yep.
Yeah. A kill's a kill.
We know those 3 he downed right then and there. 1 ejected, trying to make it back home, and the other 2.
Yeah, and they gave credit to that kill to the Dash 2 in the fight, who went away and came back, which was kind of
chased
BS,
him.
But so, yeah.
Interesting,
But
right?
You mentioned
And again, they talk about getting back aboard, but dude was doing 175 knots over the.
Well, and they left off the part that when he came out of the bottom of the clouds in the middle of the task force, they opened up on him because they thought he was the enemy. They were shooting at him.
it was a welcome home party. That's all. Some fireworks for him.
Yeah, fireworks.
Yeah.
Welcome you back. Yeah.
And congratulations for making it back to the boat. Now we're going to try and shoot you down.
Right. Dear God, make it stop.
And for our listeners that aren't aware of this story, it was February in the North China Sea.
But just as cold.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was November.
Yeah,
Okay.
November 52.
Yeah, it was cold. It was cold. It was sleeting, and the water temperature
took off in Coast Guard weather.
Such that he would not have survived in the water had he decided to jump out. So he knew the only way forward was to try to get aboard the ship.
Yeah, and you mentioned the intelligence fig. The team on the USS Helena, which is where they got they intercepted the Soviet communications from. It was actually the very first unit of the NSA.
Oh, little side note there. How about that?
Oh, no kidding.
That looks like a battleship.
They're codenamed Canoe was their code name while they were there.
Oh, nice. Just a canoe out in the water. So, thinking of NSA. I have a little fun. I named my phone NSA surveillance, so when people are looking around for Wi-Fi, if I'm near.
Yep.
Look at you.
So, but, just having some fun at other people's paranoia and expense. So, we've got another special treat. I managed to have a chat with Captain Williams on Saturday last, and he agreed to come on with us, and he's also agreed to come back once he got back from Washington, D.C. This was the eve of him getting on an airplane and flying to Washington, D.C. I did not realize he was going to be a guest at the State of the Union address, although the timing worked out. I should have known that.
Yeah, I had no clue.
I'm sure he offered that up in the phone conversation, right?
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
No.
But yeah. So this is just shy of 10 minutes. A quick chat with Captain Williams. Let's go ahead and play that. First of all, thank you so much for joining us today. What I'd like to do first off is say thank you, Captain Williams, for giving us a few minutes of your time. We're featuring your story this week, and our listeners hold you in enormous respect from the show you joined us on almost 3 years ago now. Not only for that day in the North Pacific, but for the leader you were across a full career. So I'd love to keep this tight and brief as you get ready to fly to Washington, D.C. tomorrow and talk about how the day started, what leadership you live by, and what you'd like to pass along now. So can you take me to the moment that day in 1952, November of 52, when you realized this wasn't going to be a quick look and a turn back, or that wasn't just another sighting of enemy planes passing by, that it was going to be a real fight? Can you tell me what you saw or heard or felt that when you realized, oh, this is going to be a fight, not a flyby?
Well, as things developed, I knew there were enemy airplanes high above me and going back north, and I assumed to land. They broke into two groups and dove out of the contrail level, and that was my assumption. They're about to land. But I was to turn around and establish a barricade between the last sighting and the task force. And in that turn, here comes the four that dove off to the right, heading right at me at my 10 o'clock position, all shooting. Of course, this was a most unexpected surprise.
Yeah.
I don't know, just intuition or something broke in. I'd already prepared my airplane to fight with the guns ready.
Okay.
And I turned immediately and ended up on the tail-end airplane and shot him down. Nothing planned, all reaction, nothing getting me terribly excited or anything. I was on automatic, I guess, and calm about the whole thing.
Nice. So you didn't get nervous until after the fight was over then? Or did you get nervous at all?
Not really.
Okay.
I think a little adrenaline kicked in after I was back on the ship and out of flight gear, back to my room.
Sure. Oh, I can only begin to imagine. Well, I really can't. I've never been even close to what you faced that day. So your wingman followed the first guy down that you shot. The question I forgot to ask the first time when we chatted a few years ago was, did he go back and land, or did he disappear forever? Was he gone?
My wingman?
Yes, sir.
Well, I think he remained in the area, in the clear sky, someplace down low around 8,000 feet or something. All this action was at 26,000 feet.
Right. Okay. So you never saw him again for that fight?
I saw him briefly when I notified him that I was hit, proceeding back, and he came on up and was behind the MiG that was shooting at me, but he never fired a shot. I don't think he turned his master armament switch on.
Frustrating. A little help here would be nice.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, more than that, so you're headed off tomorrow to receive the Medal of Honor, and we're so humbled to be even in your presence on the phone here. So congratulations on that. I'd like to ask more than about that fight. Looking back across your career, what would you say is the one experience that most shaped how you led other sailors and Marines over the years? And what were your 2 or 3 non-negotiables that, as a leader, your people always knew you'd enforce and hold? What standards would you hold them to every time?
Oh my, what a complicated question.
I'm sorry.
Wow, I don't think I can unscramble all that. From my youth, I was patriotic. I wanted to be a naval aviator. The closest I worked at it, I guess, was scouting. I was the Eagle Scout. I don't know, a leader, busy in all the athletics presented in our school, sort of a leader. It just came natural.
Okay. Well, maybe let me ask it this way then. So you didn't just fly, but you shaped other people around you as a leader. So what would you think would be the most important lesson that you would, or advice you would give to a young lieutenant today about judgment under pressure, or how to be aggressive and smart, and how to take care of the people around them? What do you have any advice for a new lieutenant coming into aviation today?
I think you're shaped a lot as you grow up. I had, I think, high principles. When I went into the Navy, I went in with a purpose to do my best to perform.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mess around. I stuck to duty, and I just tried to turn out a good performance.
Nice.
And I think that was probably the best, was just demonstration leadership.
So lead by example?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who would you say was the most formative person in your life then that helped grow that sense in you? Was it your parents or a scout leader or somebody?
Oh, my parents.
Okay.
Definitely. My dad was a World War I vet, very principled. There was no drinking, heavy partying. Church was a major aspect.
Okay.
I did a lot in Sunday school. As such, I'd even had conversations with some of my classmates about religion.
Okay. Nice. So let me ask briefly then, what did your dad do in World War I?
He was a machine gunner.
Okay. So he was in the thick of it.
Oh, he was in every battle Americans fought, but he was in the thick of it.
Well, it's wonderful. Wonderful he came back, and thanks for his service as well. I mean, the carnage in that war is just breathtaking and overwhelming. Well, let me ask this then. You're heading tomorrow to Washington, D.C. to receive the Medal of Honor. Can you tell me who it is you'd be thinking about as that's pinned on, and what you hope this moment says about service to the country?
Service to the country is independent of the Medal of Honor. It just happened rarely in circumstances. The country, this country, we owe as individual citizens a whole lot. It is the provider of education, opportunity, and safety. To that, shouldn't come free. Somebody's got to sacrifice for it, and we should be happy for that.
Oh, indeed. I couldn't say it better myself. It's part of the eternal vigilance that I think it was Jefferson spoke about. Well, sir, I don't want to take any more of your time. We definitely want to invite you back after you get back from Washington, D.C. and talk more just about aviation, about flying and fighting, because we know you fought both in Korea and Vietnam, and we'd love to hear more about all of that. So I'd just like to close by saying, go ahead.
In World War II, I didn't get in combat, but
That's true.
I was in about as long as anybody. I went in at the very beginning, I think February of 42.
Okay, right. You enlisted in the Army, as I recall, then.
Yes, I started in the Army.
Right. No, fantastic. Indeed, that's true. You're a World War II vet as well, so wow. Humbled. And I believe you're our only World War II vet ever on the show. We've had a couple of Korean War vets and several Vietnam War vets. So thank you. Yeah, because if I may mention, you're a couple months away from your 101st birthday.
That's true. 4 April.
Wow. Well, congratulations on that. And Captain, congratulations on this long, long overdue honor. Thank you for what you did and for the example of leadership and character that you've set for generations. If people will only have the wisdom to look to you for the example, this country will continue to be a better place and a shining example for the world to follow. Thank you.
Well, I hope that's too. I appreciate your saying so.
I cannot convey to you how much we are humbled just by your mere presence over the airwaves to chat with us.
What a privilege it was to chat with that gent. An Eagle Scout, no less.
Oh, of course.
Right?
Yeah. How could he not be?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's what's interesting, and I also sort of throw back to chemo and something that he had talked about, where he had referenced, Richter von. I'm trying to remember anyways, the quote about it's not the quality of the box matters little.
Von Richthofen.
Yes, Manfred von Richthofen. There we go. Quality of the box matters little. Success depends upon the man who sits in it. And, I think nothing could be more reflective of that and proving of that than this whole event right here. I mean, he was outgunned, outmanned, and could have been outmaneuvered, but I think through perseverance and diligence, came through on the other side. But
never give. Never quit.
And that was his second sortie of the day, if you recall.
Yeah.
His first sortie of the day, he went north and bombed bridges on the Yalu River. That's why the task force was so far north that
Yep. That's why the Soviets came to get him.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yep.
Now, something I noticed about that picture, or the footage of him actually, when they were putting it on him at the ceremony last night.
Two sets of wings.
He had NFO wings at the bottom, and I don't know from his history when that took place. Do you guys recall?
So clearly he was a pilot first, because in the earlier shots you see only the aviator wings, but he does have NFO wings. I can only assume it was at a later time that he picked up that qual somehow during one of his command tours or something. Because remember, he was an instructor at Air Force Fighter Weapons.
Yeah.
Yep.
Among other things. So I've
never
seen any. I've seen it go the other way. I've seen someone be an NFO first and then go aviator.
Right.
Well, what sticks out to me the most about that initial interview we had with him, I can't believe it was almost 3 years ago, but almost 3 years ago, was how after we talked about the dogfight in Korea, how he just nonchalantly later talked about the F4 on fire story and actually bringing the airplane back with both engines on fire after the NFO, his Rio backseater, ejected, and they had a completely intact F4 now, and figured out why they were losing F4s.
Yeah.
I mean, at one point he said he was in burner to keep the thing flying, and he brought it back. What? And that was he talked like that, like it was a Tuesday.
Yeah, he called it interesting.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah. It was a little event.
Yep.
Yeah. Never mind his backseater bailed out and he was on fire when he came back.
Yep. And then his favorite airplane, he had two.
Yeah.
It was the Phantom for fighting and the A4 for fun.
For fun. Yeah.
Wow.
My rifle's for fighting, my gun is for fun.
Oh,
what a man.
One thing I meant to...
And so,
go ahead, Vic.
He's our second. So we've had two World War II.
I was going to say.
Rosie,
our nose gunner.
Our nose gunner. Yeah. Yep. And I didn't realize this from the first interview that he was a World War II veteran. I did not remember that until today.
Yeah.
I heard it and I had forgotten it because he had enlisted in the Army, in the Army Air Corps and all that, but he wanted to go into the NAVCAD program, and that's how he got Navy. So
yeah, I'll tell you what, those World War II vets, they really earned the moniker the greatest generation. Do you, Vic, do you remember episode 95 with Rosie, what the title of that show was?
I could hear the shrapnel hitting the sides of the plane.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's right.
That is freaking insane.
Because I think the question was, did you hear the flak? Could you hear the flak? No, but I could hear the shrapnel hitting the plane.
Yeah.
But he at least had plenty of plexiglass between him and the liquid hot metal. That was
in this much aluminum, right?
Right. Probably an eighth of an inch of aluminum. Yeah. Oh man, crazy stuff.
These men.
Just living American history. That's who those gentlemen are at this point.
Exactly. Hey, the other thing we need to do is take just a moment and thank DCArtworks.net. So there I was, staring at a wall that should have been impressive, but it wasn't. And then DCArtworks.net fixed that problem for me. If you've ever looked at your office, hangar, bar, squadron space, or the blank wall behind your Zoom camera and thought this needs something with authority, stop what you're doing right now and go to dcartworks.net. Our newest sponsor is American-made, veteran-owned, and run by a gent named Derek Combs, who specializes in turning steel into statements. Not decor, not wall clutter, statements. Every piece starts off being precision laser cut, hardened steel, heavy duty, but lightweight, and then gets hand finished by Derek or one of his team. No flimsy metal, no bending, no mass-produced sameness. In fact, no two pieces are identical. If you like knowing the thing on your wall isn't hanging in 5,000 other homes or offices, then this is your guy. And here's the part that matters. 95% of what DC Artworks produces is custom. The design library on dcartworks.net is updated constantly, but that's just the launch point. The squadron logos, call signs, aviation themes, business branding, one-off gifts, big statement pieces, all can be yours. Case in point, I have a set of Naval Aviator wings almost 2 feet across, and they're exquisite. People don't glance at them. They stop. They ask questions. That's what Derek builds. DC Artworks also specializes in metal art fabrication, powder coating, and multi-material engraving, meaning depth, texture, and color photographs don't do them justice. He's a military GPC vendor, one of the lowest priced vendors in the business, with bulk and repeat discounts available. And for our listeners, this part is permanent. Use code STIW at dcartworks.net and get 20% off every order forever, even if another discount is already running. That's special. Most people won't do that. STIW is the code, 20% off anything you order from dcartworks.net. We're talking aviation-specific projects here, pilot wings, airline wings, all of it. But the real move is this. Go to dcartworks.net right now, browse, then contact Derek and commission something that's yours. Because when you see what's possible, your wall has already made the decision for you. And thanks to dcartworks.net for sponsoring this episode.
Dude's got some cool stuff there. I'm commissioning him for a squadron patch for my basement bar.
Nice.
Yeah.
It'll turn out badass. Thanks, Derek.
Indeed. So,
well,
I'm so grateful that the man received this honor.
Yep, long time coming.
Yeah.
Humously.
Yeah, I think it's so much more poignant, given that he's here to be able to speak to it and appreciate it, and the fact that he's so honestly he is so humble about it,
right?
And I think anytime you've ever talked to anybody who's been awarded the Medal of Honor, that is a common thread that runs through all of them. It's not about them, and they don't even want to accept it half the time. They almost say, well, I'll accept it, but I'm accepting it on behalf of everybody who was part of that. And
that's spot on.
And I think he embodies that, never mind the fact that it's just an astounding accomplishment of aviation. And granted, I've never been in a dogfight, but to, do all these as a face shot, I think is also mind-boggling.
That's another one, especially since it was lead. It wasn't even like a Sparrow missile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the first rule. You always shoot head-to-head, right?
No. Yeah, go with that.
Yeah,
that.
That's something. That's saying something.
And only 100 hours in the aircraft on top of that. I mean, how do you quantify that type of caliber of aviator?
His first dogfight.
Yep.
So
and that he's lucid enough to appreciate it too. That's the other thing. Not only is he still alive, but he's lucid. He understands what it means.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. The dude is sharp. He's still sharp.
I'm looking forward to having him back just to chat airplanes.
Yeah.
I mean, we got essentially his whole career left to go.
Right?
Yeah.
We just covered the first 100 hours.
There might be a story or two that we missed.
Untouched. Man.
Well, how it just the F4 on fire story just kind of came out. It was like, I think that just popped into his head. How many more are still in there? That's what I want to know. We got to get those out.
Yep.
Yep.
But the other thing that I'll throw out there, and this will be just as a salute to you and to Repeat and Fig, who started this whole thing. But we've managed, and you guys have managed to document, record, and bring to the forefront some amazing stories of naval aviation and aviation in general. And so I know, as somebody who's been a listener and now part of the team, I appreciate it. And the fact that we've been able to bring this story, feature it, even had it before it, got recognized as a Medal of Honor story worthy of that, I think says a lot. And so my hat goes off to both you two knuckleheads for pulling this off.
200 episodes of fantastic stories. Appreciate it, guys.
Well, and we're a team, gents. And
bingo.
You guys have made this so easy. And Repeat, you guys, you are the, I show up and just talk.
Yeah, but you got the gift of gab, so we'll give you that.
And you're the king of call signs, so we'll let it slide.
Yeah, and that.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we got to change that. We got to get you working behind the scenes, Vic. So speaking of behind the scenes, though, I have reached out to one person who knows people who know him, but if anybody listening happens to know CW05 Eric Slover, he was also awarded the Blue Max last night, and we would love to have a chat with that gent. If he would be honored to join us, we would be humbly honored to have him join us.
And one other thing I will throw out. So if, like I said, I think we're going to work on trying to get Captain Williams back on board for one more episode at least. But if anybody wanted to then record on their own a brief message for him, we'll be more than willing to. If you can make it as good a quality as possible, we can record that and include it in that podcast.
That'd be a great idea to just, if nothing else, to send to him. So that'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. So if anybody wants to pass that along to us, we're more than happy to share that with him. And it's something that I think is well earned. I think it'd be great if we could get, Heater and Nasty and maybe even Mooch to sort of pass along, a message. I think
I know what you're saying, but let's don't try and obligate them.
It's okay. You're right. But something to that effect, I think it'd be great.
Reach out to some folks and see what we can come up with. But
yeah.
I don't know. I think it's probably time we land the airplane, unless any of you guys got any other things that need to cover before. So
yeah, I got a couple more fun facts for you guys.
Oh yeah, please
send them.
So he's the only American to have 4 kills in a single jet-based dogfight. Only one war. And then his dogfight was actually, somehow, surprisingly, the only naval dogfight over water during the Korean War.
How about that?
Don't know how.
Cool.
And then he also had 263 holes were found in his aircraft with
just a few
and a 1-foot gash, which is that one there.
Pointing to.
Oh my gosh.
Well, the MiG was armed with a cannon as well. That was on a 34 millimeter cannon that I'm sure he unfortunately probably took a round or two from.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's flying back with no hydraulics, no electronics.
And not only that, well, actually, there were 2 cannons on each aircraft, so that's 14 cannons he was up against.
Yep.
Yeah,
when you add it all up.
And they were throwing lead. They were throwing a lot of lead at him.
Oh.
Yeah.
And he came out unscathed, body-wise.
Yeah, physiologically. Yeah.
Literally, he walked away from it unscarred, uncut.
Yeah. So. And then to put the plane back on the deck of the carrier with no hydraulics.
And he called it 3-wire.
Yeah.
It wasn't even
in the 3-wire. Got an okay underlying 3-wire.
Yeah. Why wouldn't
it's okay underlying?
Right? Yeah, right. Yeah.
There you go. I hate to see the LSO who had the stones not to give him an okay 3-wire for that. So, all right. Wow. Well, we owe a deep debt of gratitude to Captain Williams, Eric Slover, and all who have served and sacrificed and put others above self. So thank you to all our active duty, our veterans, first responders, and their families. We're deeply in debt to them. Thank you. Anyone else?
Well, how about a big thanks to Backbeat Media?
Right. Yeah.
Dave Hamilton, right? He
gives us the bandwidth to do this.
The bandwidth, the know-how, and the support.
Absolutely.
Big shout out to Dave Hamilton and Backbeat Media.
Absolutely. And, of course, our sponsor, Derek, over at dcartworks.net. But he isn't the only one who gives us support. Several of you do who are listening. Don't tell your financial advisors that you're cracking your wallet open and sending your hard-earned cash our way. They're going to be upset about that. I don't know why it won't stay up. There it goes.
Because we're working against each other.
Yeah, so I keep trying to put it up. But, yeah, so thanks to all the folks over at SoderaWos.us/Patreon. And there's also, if you go to SoderaWos.us/donate, you can directly donate to us through Donor Box. And if you're giving multiple times over a course of months or years, then we are deeply humbled by that. And that works well. But there's also Venmo. So Venmo doesn't do a recurring donation that we're aware of, but they do give us a larger cut. They take much less of your money for themselves when you're trying to support us. So if you go to SoderaWos.us/donate, we'll have Venmo also available as an option for you. So any other favors anyone could do for us?
We need a 5-star rating.
Count them.
And if you can't give us a 5-star, then let us know. We're trainable. We'll make additions, edits, corrections, but we'll get it to 5 stars.
Give that less than 5-star rating to somebody else's podcast, for crying out loud.
And then come tell us what we can do to fix it.
Yeah, like Stick says, we're trainable.
We're trainable.
Yeah. We also got to give Brad Silcott, BDS Aviation Photography, a huge shout out.
Badass. Thank you,
Absolutely.
badass.
Giving us some killer shots, or in the Soviets' case, not so killer shots, of some MiG-15s.
Yeah.
It was Royce gave the killer shots
Yeah.
this week's show.
Yeah.
Good dad joke.
Fantastic
Yes, sir.
stuff.
Hey, and we'd normally say thanks to Sticks and Bago for being in the background, but they're out front today,
No
so thank you,
background
gentlemen.
Yeah, we're
Coming on.
dug ourselves out of the
Your
trenches
voice.
tonight.
They want to know who you
Anything for Captain
We're
Royce
deep.
Williams.
Oh yeah.
Go. Yes, sir.
are. Good stuff.
Oh, and
And
then
of course-
we got a merch store.
There's Fig.
Oh. So I'm happen to be down in Florida where it's beginning to be bikini season. As you can see, if you're watching live, there's at least 6 of you out there. We do have a So There I Was bikini right now.
So
With
there
the
it was.
QR code and-
/merch.
Yeah, a QR code in a very conspicuous location.
Scan it. I
As it
promise.
should be. As it
On
should
time, on target.
Yeah.
be. Right on.
Yeah.
And then lastly, I'm hearing some noise in the background.
Well, yes, sir. I think that is the wonderful beat of the 2 Air Force F-16 pilots that make the Air Force sound good. The Dos Gringos.
Yes.
They do indeed.
They let us use their music. They are magnificent artists. From what I understand, they weren't half bad F-16 pilots, and they were true patriots. We had them on the show twice. They're just awesome, and their music is fantastic. If you're having a bad
Whiskey's even
day,
better.
oh yes, and they distill spirits.
Winglore Spirits. WINGLORE. Good stuff.
I had it over chemo's. I can say it is outstanding.
Primo stuff.
Yes, sir.
Some
And
good
chemo
brown
may or,
liquor.
hey, chemo may or may not be an investor in it. I'm not saying it because he's that. I said it because it is very fine. It is worth a try.
Bingo.
Bingo.
All right. Don't get your bottle to bingo. Go get some more. All right. Time for us to beat on out of here. Till next week, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe and check 6.
Well, there I was, crossing the pond, and you could see that I wasn't exactly fond of all the shit I was wearing on that day. Now an F-16 MiG-16 is cramped enough, but it's even worse with all that stuff supposed to save your life. But we knew there was no way. 'Cause when you're going down in the North Atlantic, man, it's over.
Hold on. Bago, what did he say?
He said it's over.
Now I have to face stupid reality again.
And we're
out.